At our high school reunion, my sister joked, she didn't come for friends, she came for bank accounts. People laughed. Our teacher even raised her glass and said, "To the queen of golden ambitions." But then my husband took the mic and said, "Let's see what she really came for." He turned to the screen. Silence. She didn't come for friends, she came for bank accounts. My sister grabbed the microphone, took a sip of champagne, and said it so loudly that the music stopped on its own. The room exploded with laughter. "Oh, that's her." Someone from the jocks table laughed. "Nothing's changed. At least she's honest," added a girl from the old choir. And then Mrs. Laurel, our economics teacher, who always played the wise friend, stood up and raised her glass. "To the queen of golden ambitions." Laughter turned into applause. I stood off to the side near the bar, gripping my drink a little too tightly. Not from cold. "What was that?" my husband Aaron whispered. "It's her show," I replied, watching my sister smile, spin in heels, and flirt with everyone at once. Her favorite kind. She was always good at this. The stage, the spotlight, the eyes of strangers, she lived in it like a fish in water. "Oh, come on, don't look so shocked." She swung her glass. "It's not like I came back for the academics. I married a financier, then a lawyer, then an oil guy. Do the math, my portfolio's better than most of your parents." Laughter. I clenched my teeth. "It's just a joke," my mom muttered, passing by. "She's just performing." It wasn't a joke. It was a hit. Targeted. And, as always, aimed at me. "She's looking right at you," Aaron said. "I know. She wants a reaction." "Where's your laugh, sis?" she called into the mic, leaning toward the table where Aaron and I stood. "Oh, right. You're allergic to success." This time, not everyone laughed. Some people looked down. Some pretended not to hear. Aaron took a sip and set his glass down. Slowly, quietly, then stepped aside and whispered something to the host. "What are you doing?" I asked, startled. "Fixing this." He walked up front, took the mic from the host's hand, and said evenly, "Let's see what she really came for." The music stopped completely. Someone chuckled nervously. My sister's smile vanished for the first time that evening. Aaron pulled a flash drive from his coat pocket and handed it to the DJ. The guy, confused but obedient, plugged it into the projector. "Go ahead," Aaron said. "Everyone should see this." The room fell silent. My sister went pale, and I knew everything was about to change. Everyone always said my sister Madison was the star of the family. Even when we were kids, the rules didn't apply to her. She could stay out late, skip chores, roll her eyes at our parents, and they'd just laugh. If I so much as raised my voice, it was, "Don't start, Emma. You always overreact." It was like we were raised in two different houses. She was their investment, their legacy, their perfect little project. I was extra. When Madison turned 18, they threw her a surprise party with a rented beach house and a live DJ. When I turned 18, my mom handed me a card and said, "We didn't think you wanted anything big." Spoiler, I never got a party. Not even a cake. But I didn't complain. I worked. I studied. I built my life from the ground up while Madison floated through hers, landing soft every time she fell because someone always cushioned the blow. That someone eventually became me. It started small. A text from her during college. "Madison. Hey sis, can you spot me $100 for textbooks? I'll pay you back Friday, promise." I sent it. Of course I did. Friday came. Then Sunday. Then 2 more weeks. When I asked about it, she replied with a winky face and, "OMG, I totally forgot. You're such a nerd, keeping track like that." The money never came back. But the requests kept coming. First it was textbooks. Then rent. Then groceries. Then a $700 vet bill for a dog she couldn't afford, but rescued for her mental health. Our parents? They just nodded every time she asked for help. "She's trying," my mom would say. "She's fragile," my dad added. "She's not you." They never said out loud, but I heard it anyway. Because I was fine. I was stable. I had a job, a condo, a savings account. In their eyes, that meant I didn't need anything, so I became the one who gave. And Madison? She didn't just accept it. She expected it. When she got engaged to her second fiancé, a crypto entrepreneur who proposed with a rented Tesla, she called me crying 3 days later. "Emma," she sobbed, "the venue says they need the deposit now and Jeremy's wallet got hacked or something. I can't lose this place. It's my dream wedding." I wired her $3,500 that night. She sent me a thank you TikTok with glitter filters and Lana Del Rey in the background. I didn't even get a real call. Aaron, my husband, warned me. "This isn't helping her," he said. "This is enabling her." But I didn't listen. I thought maybe if I helped her stay afloat long enough, she'd find her own legs eventually. That she'd grow up. Spoiler number 2, she didn't. She dropped the crypto guy 6 months later and moved in with our parents again, jobless, broke, and completely unbothered. When I asked her about finding work, she just shrugged. "I'm not built for stress, Emma. My nervous system is different." I couldn't believe what I was hearing. "Your nervous system?" I said. "What does that even mean?" "It means I have soft girl syndrome," she said, completely serious. "You wouldn't get it. You're like, industrial. Industrial. Like I was a machine. Like my ability to function was something ugly. And yet, when her car broke down, guess who paid for the repairs? When she wanted to start a boutique candle business, guess who bought the supplies? When our parents' AC broke in the middle of summer and they couldn't afford repairs, guess who they called? They didn't ask Madison. They asked me. They always asked me. And I always said yes. Until last month. I had just gotten home from a 12-hour shift and a 2-hour board meeting when I saw the notification on my phone. "Madison, hey babe, can you Venmo me $250 for a hair appointment tomorrow? It's for the reunion. I'll die if I show up looking like a rat." No please. No explanation. Just a demand, wrapped in fake glittery charm. I didn't answer right away. 30 minutes later, she followed up. "Madison, hello?" Then again. "Madison, are you seriously ignoring me?" And then, "Madison, wow. So now that you're married and rich, you're just gonna pretend I don't exist?" Got it. That one hit differently. Because I wasn't rich. I worked hard for what I had. Aaron and I built our life brick by brick, while Madison floated on IOUs and pity. I texted back one sentence. "Me, no." She didn't reply. But our mother did. "Mom, Emma. Madison's very upset. She's trying to look nice for the reunion. Do you want her to feel left out?" Me, I want her to grow up. There was no response. Until the reunion. When Madison got drunk on attention and champagne and mocked me in front of 100 people, and our old teacher toasted her like she was some kind of folk hero, the audacity of it made my blood boil. She humiliated me after years of taking from me. And the worst part? They cheered. Until Aaron walked to the stage. Until he said, "Let's see what she really came for." Until the screen lit up. And Madison realized she wasn't the only one who came prepared. The screen blinked to life. At first, there was only a loading bar. Then video. Madison. Sitting at a patio table, laughing with a man no one recognized. Tall, expensive watch, slick smile. He reached across the table, touched her hand. She didn't pull away. The camera zoomed in. Madison leaned forward, sipped a cocktail, and whispered something in his ear. He laughed. She giggled. Then they kissed. Not a hello kiss. Not a goodbye kiss. A "this is not your first time" kiss. A gasp rippled through the room. The scene changed. Another clip. Same guy. This time they were inside a boutique. She was trying on jewelry. He handed his card to the cashier. Then a screenshot appeared. Bank transfer. $4,300. Madison Claire Sutton cash out. New client gift. Another video. She was in her car, filming herself in selfie mode. Madison on video. "So yeah, I know I'm gonna get judged, but like, if someone wants to send me money for being hot and nice, is that my fault?" Laughter from a few people, but nervous now. Another clip. Madison in a Zoom meeting. Lying on her couch in a robe. Madison. I told him I needed $10,000 to pay off my debt, but I used it for my Bali trip. Whatever. He's old. He'll live. The video stopped. Silence. No music. No applause. No laughter. Just air so thick you could slice it. My sister stood frozen at the front of the room, mouth slightly open, eyes blinking fast like she was waiting to wake up. Aaron handed the mic back to the host. That's what she came for, he said simply. He walked back toward me. People started whispering. Some covered their mouths. A few reached for their phones. My former classmates looked like someone had punched them in the stomach. Our teacher sat completely still, glass in midair. And Madison? She exploded. What was that? She grabbed the mic with shaking hands, eyes wild. That was edited. That was old. You're all taking this out of context. That was a joke. A joke. No one laughed. She turned toward me. You did this, she hissed. You're always bitter, Emma. Careful, I said calmly. You're still mic'd. People in the crowd flinched. Madison threw the mic down, it screeched as it hit the floor, and stormed toward me, finger in my face. You're jealous. You've always been jealous. I get attention, I get love, I get everything you wish you had. You think marrying some boring lawyer makes you better than me? Aaron raised an eyebrow. I didn't move. I didn't blink. No, I said. I think not stealing from your own family makes me better than you. She froze. And I knew I had her. Tell them about the emergency you had last year. The one I wired you $5,000 for. What was it really for, Madison? She clenched her jaw. Was it the eviction notice you pretended to get while booking a VIP spa package in Aspen? Or the medical debt that somehow included plane tickets and Dior heels? She opened her mouth. I didn't let her speak. You used my name to get a line of credit, didn't you? Now the room gasped. Louder this time. Our teacher stood up. My old classmate Rachel, the one Madison bullied all through 10th grade, covered her mouth. The guy from the bar leaned forward like he was watching a true crime doc. What? Someone whispered. I reached into my clutch and pulled out a printed copy of the fraud report from the bank. She used my info. Name, address, even my social. Opened a credit card, maxed it out, and had it mailed to Mom and Dad's house. I turned the paper for the nearest people to see. This is real. Filed. Investigated. Verified. Madison's voice cracked. You said you wouldn't tell anyone. I also said you had 1 week to pay it back, I replied. You didn't. A man in the crowd, someone who clearly didn't know the old Madison, let out a low whistle. A woman muttered, She's cooked. Madison turned to our parents. Mom, say something. She's trying to ruin my life. My mother's lips parted, then closed again. Even she didn't have words. My father looked at Aaron. Is this true? Aaron nodded once. Slowly, every word. We have proof. If this wasn't a reunion, we'd be in court already. I stepped closer to Madison. You thought you could humiliate me and I'd still protect you. Like always. But I'm done protecting you. Her eyes glistened. Not from sadness. From rage. She looked around the room and realized what I'd known for years. No one was on her side anymore. Not Mom. Not Dad. Not the classmates she used to charm. Not the guys she used to flirt with. And definitely not me. She whispered something under her breath, picked up her purse, and literally ran out of the venue. For a moment, no one moved. Then Aaron leaned toward me and said, So, that went well. I exhaled for the first time all night. And then, someone clapped. One slow, deliberate clap. Then another. And another. Until half the room was applauding. Not for me. Not for drama. But for the truth. And for the first time in years, I felt something I hadn't allowed myself to feel around Madison. Power. When I walked out of that hall to a round of applause, the first thing I felt was silence. Not around me. Inside. No more pressure. No more stomach aches every time my mom's name popped up on my phone. No more guilt for saying no, For the first time in years, I was free. And my sister wasn't. The next morning, my phone was vibrating like it was possessed. 27 messages, 11 missed calls. Mom, Dad, Aunt Laura, even our cousin we hadn't spoken to since 2016. What did you do? That was cruelty, humiliating your sister in front of everyone. She's crying. Her life is ruined. You turned a family gathering into a courtroom. I didn't answer. Because it wasn't a gathering. It was a liberation. Online, it was chaos. One of the classmates posted the video of Madison standing there pale as a ghost while behind her, a screen lit up showing a bank transfer screenshot. Caption: Reunion turned into a court case, and she lost. Millions of views. Hundreds of comments. Hashtag gold digging gone wrong. Hashtag mic drop at reunion. Hashtag she played around and found out. She deleted her Instagram, her TikTok, even her Facebook disappeared. But that wasn't the worst of it. 2 days later, I got a call from the bank. Good afternoon. We're calling to confirm that the $18,000 account opened under your name has been marked as fraudulent. It's linked to your sister, Madison Sutton. We've initiated a formal investigation. I know, I said calmly. I've been expecting your call. They said they were filing charges. Not against me, I was the victim. And that was the first time I heard someone say it out loud. I was the victim, not the problem. That same evening, my mom sent a long, dramatic message. She's your sister. She just got lost. How could you do this in public? I replied with one line. How could you let her do this to me in private for so many years? And then I turned off my phone. Next came the oil guy. Her last boyfriend. The one with the watch more expensive than my car. He saw the video too. How do I know? Easy. He messaged me on LinkedIn. Just saw what happened. Sorry you had to go through that. Had no idea she was capable of this. Neither did I replied. Tell your husband he's a legend. Of course, he dumped her. And not quietly, he filed fraud charges after discovering she used his Apple Pay to buy herself a MacBook and then claimed it was an accident. And then came the final blow. A week later, I found out she moved back in with our parents. With suitcases. And rage. She wouldn't leave her room. Said she was depressed, traumatized, bullied by the internet. She cried, ate, and slept. Our parents? At first, they raged at me. But 2 weeks later, Mom called, whispering this time. She doesn't help with anything, she said. She eats, sleeps, and cries. We don't know what to do with her. What you did with me for years, I replied. Ignore it. And me? I bloomed. You know that feeling when someone lifts a heavy backpack off your shoulders and you suddenly realize you can stand up straight? That was exactly it. I didn't live in SOS mode anymore. I woke up without dread. I laughed, not sarcastically, but truly. I stopped calculating how much guilt a no would cost me. Aaron said, I've never seen you this free. I looked at him and said, that's because I'm no longer a bank. I'm no longer a safety net. I'm just a woman who survived her own family. And the most explosive part? 3 weeks later, I got a message. From her first ex-husband. I saw what happened. I always knew something wasn't right with her. Thank you for exposing it. You probably saved others too. Then another one from a classmate Madison used to bully in high school. You were always the quiet, strong one. She thought she could walk over people forever. Not anymore. Thank you. And I realized. What started as revenge ended in release. Not just for me. For everyone she ever humiliated, scammed, or belittled. And I no longer felt guilt. I felt triumph. No more, maybe we'll talk again someday. No more, but she's still family. No more forgive, because you're supposed to. I didn't need an apology. Because I was no longer playing the game where I waited for one. 2 months after the night where truth hit louder than any music, I sat on the same couch where I used to cry, drained, empty after wiring Madison money for another emergency surgery that turned out to be a rooftop dinner with cocktails and hashtags. And this time, I was smiling. Not sarcastically, but because for the first time, I belonged to myself. My parents tried to reach out. Mom sent long emotional messages with subjects like, "We didn't know," and "Give us a chance to change." Dad kept it short. "Let's have dinner." No drama. Just talk. I didn't respond. And that was the loudest no I had ever said. Because all my life, I sat at dinners where I was invisible while they toasted Madison. Where I paid the bill while she bragged about networking with elites. Where I faded and they cheered for her shine. And now that the world saw what hid behind the sparkle, manipulation, theft, lies, they suddenly remembered they had another daughter. Too late. Madison didn't leave our parents' house for 3 weeks. Then she tried to get a job at some creative wellness co-working space. They rejected her. They'd seen the video too. Her last hope? Instagram. She made a new account, wrote "healing through chaos" in her bio, and started posting crystals, candles, tarot cards, and dramatic quotes. But every post had the same comment under it. "This you," followed by a link to the viral TikTok of her meltdown. And then she vanished again. Aaron. He became the quiet hero of this story. Not just because he stood up in that room and flipped everything, but because he stood next to me while I rebuilt myself from pieces. "Do you think she'll ever change?" he asked me once. "Maybe," I said. "But I won't be waiting." We took a vacation. No calls. No family chats. No guilt. Just two people finally living for themselves. And the ones who used to laugh with her? Almost all of them reached out. "Now I see how much you held in. You broke the cycle." Thank you. Your silence all those years was the loudest scream. Even Rachel, the girl Madison bullied in high school, messaged me. "I cried watching you speak. You said what we all were too scared to say. She's not a queen. She's just a product of blind worship." I won, but not like in movies, where the hero gets a trophy and dances at sunset. I won in the silence. In not waiting for an apology. In not offering another chance. In not feeling guilty. In not waking up thinking I was cruel. Because now I know. Protecting yourself isn't cruelty. It's maturity. And when I catch a glimpse in the mirror of the girl who used to sit clutching her wallet, wondering if she could afford to eat after bailing her sister out again, I tell her, "You're no longer their target. You're no longer their ATM. You're free."